This is Gordon St. Angelo, former state chairman of the Democratic Party and one of the political legends and icons in the state of Indiana. Fair to say?
Well, I won't be the judge on that, but you're in a very historic spot, and as far as the Democratic Party is concerned, and goes back many, many years, and most of my political successes, if I had any, had a route to this hotel. I remember the first major Democrat meeting I went to, and I had no title whatsoever. I wasn't a precinct committeeman, I wasn't a county chairman, I wasn't anything. But it was here in French Lick. And
When was that?
that would have been about 1950, I'd say about 1955. I was elected county chairman in 1958, so it was before that. And through the years, we brought a number of major speakers down here that had a built-in crowd because all the Democrats seemed to come here as the watering hole. And it was as traditional to come to French Lick for Democrats as it was for governors to preside in Indianapolis. It was just part of living politics. And there's some great stories that these walls hold. And I don't know if you know it or not, but in 1929, maybe in 1930, when the Governor's Conference, with all the governors from around the country, met here in French Lick, and there are pictures here of that array of governors, and sitting in the middle was Franklin D. Roosevelt and his wife. And so, yeah, when I come back here, and I do it at least once a year, bring my family, I just feel the electricity of the old political life, which is completely changed now. And I will not say for the better. Ed and I have been doing a lot of reminiscing today, and we're now both too old to do anything about it, but we both wish we were young enough to do something about it. And,
Well, you know, the one name that most people might know who do a little history as far as the Democratic Party goes, Tom Taggart.
yeah, oh sure, he began it all, and a lot of people don't realize that West Baden was kind of the Republican hotel in town, and French Lick Springs was the Democrat hotel in town. And I've often wondered, when they both met at the same time, if there was any conflict that occurred. And yeah, this whole area is just rooted in political history, and there are still a few people around that remember it, like Ed and myself.
When you see what's happened with Mr. Cook's investment and all of that, how does that make you feel to at least see these hotels and come back to life?
Well, it makes me feel good because I've been personally as well as politically loyal to French Lick in particular, and it's like bringing back an era that was important to the whole state of Indiana, in fact to the nation. And I think what Mr. Cook has done is certainly a huge credit to his ability to amass that kind of wealth and to use that wealth in a way that is going to remind people for years and years to come that this was an icon, and something that should be protected.
You know,
And what he's done to West Baden, I remember West Baden as a child when it was not quite in its heyday, but it had been, and it was still considered a major stop. And then to see it deteriorate to the point where you could still get in, but you'd have to rip off a piece of wood to get in the place just to look at the dome, which was a mess, and then to bring it back to its full glory and grandeur that existed. I thought that was just a super move on the part of the Cook family to bring back history for our kids, and my grandkids are over there right now, and I should be with them to tell them what it used to be like, but never thought it would come back to the point it has. And it's one of the great gifts that an individual family could bestow on their home state. And I don't know Mr. Cook, but I would like to know him.
Wow. To see you talk about the history, and I could just imagine some of the people that may pass through your mind. Who are some of the icons of the Democratic Party that you could just kind of imagine just walking around this veranda?
Well, Hubert Humphrey is one. Gerald Ford was not a Democrat, but Gerald Ford was here not often, but on occasion. Harry Truman, and more recently, Bill Clinton was here at a governor's conference, Midwest Governor's Conference, and let's see, I'm trying to remember. I think the most important of the group is Franklin D. Roosevelt, but there have been follow-ups like Humphrey and like Truman and just about every United States senator that had any idea of advancing their careers to the White House have been here and have spoken to Democrats, especially in August. At the Indiana Democrat Editorial Association, and Congressman. This was the second stop for guys like Lee Hamilton, who's still alive, and congressmen like Winfield Denton, who probably very few people remember, but he represented not this county, but every county almost south of here. This was an annual stop for him, and all the candidates for governor through the years, Democrats, always came to French Lick, and I can't think of one that didn't. And there have been party chairmen here a number of times, a number of them. Paul Butler, who a lot of people have forgotten, but he was one of the incisive people that was able to help nominate John F. Kennedy. And Bobby Kennedy's been here. If my memory was a little clearer, I'm sure I could come up with other names that became big names politically in the Democrat Party. But yeah, this is maybe as meaningful to the Democrat Party nationally as any other spot in the country.
And to you, and meaningful to you.
Well, I started coming over here when I was real young, because this was the ultimate destination for the Sunday afternoon drive. Sunday afternoon drives when families with automobiles would try to go together to some notorious spot, and French Lick was the ultimate on that. And if your father's business had a good week, we'd had dinner here, and so it goes back back in my life before the political gears went into effect. And yeah, I love it here.